Here we are. Ryan wanted to see how much reserve was in the fuel, so he ran the Bronco to empty. And we could do that because he brought extra fuel. And there's no gas for another 60 miles.
Hey everyone, this is Mystery and Headshot. We wanted to share our trip to Moab, Utah in 2023 that we took with our brand new Ford Bronco. Please enjoy the video and come along for the ride.
We have now pressured Talbot against his will to doing the hard option. He says he has stuff loose in the cabin that might hit the windows. We encourage that. Never listen to your friends.
The day before the whole group was going to meet up, Talbot, Brody Custom Works, and I arrived at Utah a day early. We did Fins and Things, which is located just outside the city of Moab, and here's a little bit of that part. In Canyonlands National Park, there's the White Rim Trail. This is an absolutely beautiful 99-mile loop. It takes 2 days to complete, and our entire group met up at about 4 a.m. to fuel up and start our trip. We knew we were going to be camping one night on the trail, and we'd already booked in advance. They suggest that the groups are no more than 4 cars per group, so we booked 2 campsites and we tried to leave as much space as possible. Now, whenever you're in a national park and you're driving around a place like this, stick to the speed limit. It's absolutely gorgeous. You're not there to make good time. You're there to enjoy the journey. And so I hope you enjoy seeing some video of day 1 of our White Rim Trail. Here we are making our way up to the Murphy Campground, which is the end of day 1 for us, about 46 miles out of the 99-mile White Rim Trail. And as you can see, the roads can be pretty difficult. This is not terribly fun to do in the rain or the snow. But on a dry day like today, you don't need an awful lot more than your standard SUV. Although I will say 4-wheel drive would be preferential in some of these pretty steep environments, and the camera doesn't quite show how steep or bumpy this is, but we had a lot of fun doing it, and there are some slides of the campsite at the end of the video, but for now I don't have a lot of video of our actual camping because we were busy trying to set camp up before it got dark. Reason why we don't have a lot of exterior videos and you're seeing a lot just from the car was I was under quite a bit of pain here. My back had been acting up for a while, and I ended up having to go get a spinal surgery about 4 days after this trip. As soon as we got back, it was just unbearable. So I do apologize that there isn't a lot of exterior video, but I'm hoping that by sharing a lot of the scale of the Canyonlands and showing some of the vehicles in use, and you get a good perspective of what you'd see out there and the type of environment. It's absolutely spectacular. It's like being in a different planet, and you're still maybe 75 miles outside of Moab, but it really is like being in a different world out there. There is no electricity, there's no internet, there's nothing to provide you with substance aside from a few chamber bathrooms. So you really have to plan for yourself, plan your fuel, plan your water, because there's not much out there. But as you can see, it is gorgeous. It's wonderful out there. It even smells great. And I hope if you're watching this video, you either were on the trip with us, or you're hoping to come out and see it someday, and this might be some information of what you'll see. As we get to about the last 20 miles of day 2, the guide folks and the national park itself does recommend that if you're doing the White Rim Trail, to do the route in a clockwise orientation. And if you do so, it actually saves you a lot of headache. As you can see here, our final elevation will actually be on the top of that upper ridge ahead of us, and you go all the way from the foot of the Colorado River all the way up there in about 20 miles. And this last stretch really is one lane. We'll be on some sheer cliff faces here as we gain elevation, and it can be quite difficult when you encounter some traffic coming the other direction. We only encountered 1 or 2 vehicles, but of course we encountered them at really difficult locations, and it was tough for our group of 8 vehicles to maneuver when there'd be that oncoming traffic. So if you're going to do it in 2 days, go counterclockwise, follow their guidance on that. And it also makes this a climb instead of a descent, because as you can see, it's starting to rain here, and it was an advantage to be going uphill in this rather than downhill. And you know, the views are spectacular either direction, but the direction of traffic is a lot better to go clockwise if you do this.
Chicken Corners in Moab. Little narrow through here with the sheer deadly drop.
Big group of us finished up on the White Rim Trail the day before, and I was thankful that forum member Talbot got to stay an extra day with me here in Moab, and we did Chicken Corners together. And this is not a difficult trail. Even a lighter duty vehicle than our Broncos could have certainly done this. However, you're greeted with a pretty awesome view at the end of this down and back trail if you are brave enough to go through the Chicken Corners, which is what we're doing here right now. And it is quite narrow. You end up really pinned between some impassable rocks and a sheer cliff, and it's quite dangerous and treacherous. And the mud here was about 2 feet deep. It would hit the middle of our wheels, and on my vehicle being a little shorter than Talbot's, I was up to the rock sliders. But another gorgeous day. The weather is beautiful for this, so I hope you are enjoying seeing a little bit of Chicken Corners. And here is by far and away the most treacherous stretch is what's going on right now. I realize the video might be a little out of sequence here, but this is the final view at the end of Chicken Corners. You can't actually go any further, it's just a sheer cliff. But I wanted to give you the whole panoramic view. It's absolutely stunning, and enjoy. Okay, our last day on this epic Moab trip, and we only had one day left, in fact, part of a day, and my back was acting up to the point that I could barely get outside of the vehicle. But we decided to do Hell's Revenge, which is quite a destination and one of the more popular trails out there. It can be incredibly treacherous, and there are a number of really dangerous obstacles that you'll come across. Now, we ended up using all of the bypasses, and so we did none of the incredibly dangerous, difficult obstacles. And that was really a choice because there was only the two of us out there, just a Mystery and I. And as you can see, there was actually almost no traffic out there. I think it was a Wednesday, and there's just nobody out there. So we didn't feel that it was safe enough to be trying any of the really difficult obstacles. There were no spotters, there was no assistance out there. So some of the stuff doesn't look like it's quite as treacherous as Hell's Revenge should be, but I promise you in these Broncos that it was definitely hairy enough for us, and we had a great time doing it. And if you're going to go out there, I definitely recommend doing the primitive exit from Hell's Revenge, which ended up being more difficult than anything else we'd done the entire Moab trip, and got stuck a couple of times, and it was a little bit dangerous, but we had a ton of fun doing it. So enjoy the last of the video here. This is the primitive exit of Hell's Revenge, and if you'll notice, there's not much in the way of trail markings, and there are some great drops in this as well. I was gonna put in some video of watching me try and move a small boulder or even walk, but it was pretty painful at this point, so that video wasn't worth showing you guys. But I did want to show you some of the bumps and some of the stuff here on the primitive escape. I would say that it was a series of obstacles that were much closer together than in the main Hell's Revenge trail. And the primitive exit ended up taking us about an extra hour and a half to get through, which was a little unexpected, but it was really enjoyable. And the views were, of course, amazing as well. So if you have an off-road vehicle, then try the primitive exit. Just make sure you have some rock sliders and some skid pans underneath the vehicle, and probably about a 33-inch tire at minimum, which is about what we did here. And this is where all the damage on the vehicle was suffered, was during this. But once again, we enjoyed it. So please enjoy the video with us. So the videos didn't capture how big our group was, so I wanted to use some of the stills from the trip to really showcase how many of us met and did this trip together. Now, none of us had ever met each other before. We met through a forum in 2020 when they announced the release of the Bronco, and we became friends through there and had a large private chat and ended up planning this trip. And I really didn't know if I was going to be able to make the trip. I ordered my Bronco, which is the green one, in 2020, and I literally took delivery of the vehicle a month before this trip. So everyone else had been planning for about half a year, and I was just hoping to get my vehicle. I then had to rush through putting on some metal bumpers and a winch and whatnot before doing this trip with all these random folks who'd never met. So of course we thought we'd get together and go out into a very remote location where nobody could hear our screams, and we thought we'd camp together. What could possibly go wrong? Everyone you meet on the internet is gonna be wonderful. And of course that axiom rings true to here. Everyone was great. We had a fantastic trip. We've actually all stayed in touch after this and really created our own little mini community within the Bronco forum as a whole. And they're real wonderful folks. I hope these pictures showcase that we did have a great time meeting everyone. And I'm not going through everyone's real names, protect privacy and whatnot, but hopefully you're enjoying some of these pics as much as I enjoyed making this video. And I'm going to have some more videos coming up soon. So of course, now's the time to plug the old like and subscribe. And we'll see if I can keep this content coming. I've got almost 100 views total. So not exactly making any of that YouTube money, which is perfectly fine with me. I'd rather just make this and show friends and family and whoever random folks on the internet find one of my videos. And maybe you even made it all the way through to get to my voice here. So I hope you're enjoying it. I'd love to hear comments, good or bad. I am brand new to making videos. This is not something I do for a living whatsoever, and would be glad to see what I could do to make this better. All right. Thank you for enjoying the video. I really have had fun making it.